Okay. Well, that was an interesting set of circumstances.
It wasn't.
The universe said, oh, you thought it was going to go down that way? Plot twist, is actually going to go down this way.
I had you worried for a while.
But you know what? When you trust the process, you get good results. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the I Can and I Will podcast, episode 3. If I could light the candle as per usual, you guys know what's going down. I got quite some tea for you guys. And it's so funny, right? Because I usually prepare my episodes in advance, like at least the topic. Like I know what I'm going to come on here and talk to you guys about. So this week, you guys, if you clicked on this episode, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're on the podcast platforms, if you're tuning in this week and you see the title, right, you understand a little bit about where we're going to go with this today, right? Flipping the script on your circumstances, the bridge of incidences, however you want to, phrase it, label it, but it's all pretty much the same vibe. And the universe really came in clutch with the example of how today was supposed to play out, right? So I'll give you guys a little story time to introduce this episode. So I usually go to the studio to film the content, all the things, right? And my uncle is also my executive assistant. So he's really, really good at making sure we have all our supplies, all the equipment. We're on point. The studio session is booked at a certain time. Like we're rolling, right? So we get to the studio, we find a good parking spot, and we go to unload the car, and there's one specific bag missing. It's the bag with the tripods that we use to film. So in my mind, I'm like, this is so on brand with today's episode. Like, I'm actually a little curious to see what's going to happen because, without the tripods, what are you using to like hold up your recording device, right? Your camera, your phone, whatever. But I'm like, you know what? Maybe we left it at the studio from the last time you were here. Let's just go upstairs, see if it's there, right? So we go upstairs and this bag, you guys, it's a very distinct bag. It's a white bag, huge bag. It has like 3 to 4 tripods in it. Bag is nowhere to be found. It's not in his car. It's not at the studio. We have no tripod, right? So I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going back to the old school days. Like, what can we use as like a makeshift tripod? So literally right now my phone is propped up on a freaking stand. We're using electrical tape to hold it and secure it. Like we made some things shake, you guys. We really, really did. And why this story is important is because bringing it back home to our topic of the day, the bridge of incidences, right? A strange set of circumstances, flipping the script on your circumstances. When you have the perspective that everything is working out for you, that, everything that's happening in any now moment is just the universe bringing you closer and closer to your manifestations, you start to align with them that much quicker. So you guys know, this podcast is not just about, what you can do, what you will do. Yes, that is the central theme, but it's also very much about like manifesting your dream life. Like, let's be serious. We all want to manifest the things that we want for ourselves. And there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different modalities we can use to achieve those results, right? But the bridge of incidences is a fun one. And I'll tell you why. Because you get to pretend, right? Like I saw a TikTok, you guys, and I'm going to get into the content, but I just feel like I have a couple like stories, a couple downloads, a couple shares that I want to drop for you guys, a couple tea things that I want to serve for you guys before we really get into like the meat and bones, or like I'm pescatarian, so like the fruits and veggies of today's episode. But I saw TikTok and this guy I don't know if he was joking or not, but I took it very seriously. He was like, life is so much funner and it's so much better when you just use this justification, like, oh, that person was rude to me because they're clearly in love with me. Oh my God, that person didn't call me today. They're clearly in love with me. They couldn't call me because it's too much, right? Like looking at the world as everybody's obsessed with you. Everybody's in love with you. First of all, if you guys know anything about law of attraction, law of assumption, when you embody that mindset genuinely, you're really going to start to see a lot of people show up in those ways around you. People just doing things for you, princess treatment, king, queen treatment, all those things, right? But I just thought it was funny because it's kind of the same mindset as just believing that everything's always working out for you. Oh, my car broke down. That's just the universe bringing me closer and closer to my newest manifestation. Oh, the money didn't come on time. That's okay. The universe is aligning some way, somehow, some shape for everything to work out for me, right? Like, oh, that person broke up with me. That's okay. That's the universe taking out the trash so that I really can make space for my proper partner, the person who's going to treat me the way that I deserve to be treated, right? Like all those things can be looked at and framed in a certain way, in a certain light. So let's bring it into today's topic, you guys. Let's bring it home for a second. So I want to ask you guys this, right? Have you ever been in a scenario in your life where while you were going through the things, while you were in the thick of whatever was happening, it was like, this makes no sense. My life is falling to shit. Nothing's working out. Everything's working against me. But then it was like plot twist. Everything ended up working out for you in the end. And then you kind of like got to that end point and you were able to look back and say, well, I see now why that had to happen that way, why that was delayed, why that person had to remove themselves. Like I see why these things had to line up, because if they didn't, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, right? That is literally flipping the script on your perspective. The thing is that a lot of people don't flip the script until they get to that end result, and then it starts to make sense. It's like, oh, it didn't make sense before, so I didn't want to flip the script. I wanted to assign whatever meaning to my circumstances that I felt was, justifiable in that moment based on what was going on in my 3D. And then when I got to the end result, then when I got to that conclusion and I looked back, I'm like, oh, I see why that had to happen. That was just bringing me right to this moment. That also brought me right to this moment, and the cycle continues, right? But what if we were able to flip the script right now? What if we didn't need to wait until we got to the end? What if we didn't need to have the result or the manifestation to understand that when we ask for something, it's given? Shout out to Abraham Hicks, right? She was probably one of my first manifestation coaches on the YouTube space. I used to watch her little cartoon animations and just like tune in with the messages from her lectures and seminars. But she wrote a book literally called Ask and It Is Given. And she basically is stating like the moment that you ask for something, whether you verbalize it, whether you think it, feel it internally, whether you're just pulled in the direction of a desire, right? That is the universe telling you you want that thing because it's already yours somewhere in the quantum field. You already have that, right? But then on the flip side of it, when you ask and you know that it's given, you can now start to operate accordingly. You won't start to be triggered by things seemingly not going your way because you understand that everything's always working out for you. Even if it doesn't make sense to you now, you know that it is going to make sense later. It had to happen this way. So you're not bothered by your strange set of circumstances that may be going on for you right now, right? Because let's be serious, you guys. The triggers be triggering, like they really do. And so when you are wanting to manifest anything, when you're wanting to call things into your life, when you're wanting to change your reality, when you're wanting to really create some transformational shifts in your right now moment, EFT tapping, you guys know I'm going to always advocate for nervous system regulation. You guys know that, right? But EFT tapping is only one way to kind of like vibe out and to zen out in the midst of chaos. If you are able to control your mind, master your mindset enough to where you just look at whatever's happening as, oh, this is just bringing me right to where I need to be. That also is a sense of your nervous system being calm, being regulated, because it's no longer like, oh my God, things are happening beyond my control. What am I supposed to do? It's like, oh, things are happening beyond my control, but like the universe knows what to do. So like, if you're not worried, universe, why am I worried? If you're not worried, I'm not worried. Like I saw that on TikTok as well. Somebody was like, I look at the universe like, if you're not worried, why would I be worried? Literally, if you're not worried, why should I worry? And I feel like this is the mentality I want you guys to start embodying, right? Because in 2025, I know we're only in November of 2024, but 2025, I want this to be the most magical year, the most prosperous year, the most successful year, the most ambitious year, the most abundant year, the most inspiring year, all the things, all the positive things for 2025, right? Like we're getting a jump start now. We're getting a head start now. And we're going to be shifting our mindsets in a way that supports everything we want for ourselves, that supports what we're calling into our lives right now. Now, something that makes it really, really easy for me to trust the process, for me to trust, the bridge of incidences, for me to flip the script on my now circumstances, is to know that I don't know more than God. I will never know more than the universe in this human existence, right? Like we are the universe existing as our individual human selves, right? So I am the universe expressed as Sakira. You are the universe expressed as whoever you are, insert your name, right? But we are the essence of the universe just having a human experience. So in a sense, we will have all the answers we need, but our human existence is designed specifically to keep us separate and like, a little bit distanced, if you will, from that all-knowing, all-purposeful, powerful energy that the universe is, that God is, right? But bringing it back, when you lean into this knowing or this understanding that even when I don't have the answers in my human moment right now, when my ego might be clouding my judgment, when fear, anxiety might be overwhelming me and I can't think clearly, you know that there is a source out there. There's a creator out there. There's a universe, a God, a spirit, however you label it, right? That is all knowing, that is all understanding, that is all seeing. When you feel that, you truly believe that, it brings you a little bit of solace. It brings you a little bit of comfort because it's like, well, I don't need to have the answers because, again, going back to the, if you're not worried, universe, why would I worry? If you're not worried, why would I worry, right? That right there is like the foundation energy you want to start embodying. Trusting the process because the process is governed by God. It's governed by the universe, right? So when you embody this mindset now and you're like, okay, if you're not worried, I'm not worried. I can be calm even when I don't have the answers. I can trust that everything's working out for me, even if it makes no logical sense. Because logic, although it has its uses, it has its benefits, there's very little place for logic when it comes to spiritual manifestation. I'm just going to put it out there like that, you guys. When you are manifesting anything, logic sometimes will impede on that progress because your logic is limited to your ego's experiences. Your intuition, however, is like the cheat code given to you straight from the universe. Like, oh, you got that little gut feeling. Oh, you got that little inspiration. Oh, you got that little calling. Oh, you got that little aha light bulb moment. That's all the universe speaking logically to you, but in a very spiritual essence that's very expansive. It's very open. It's very, again, tied to like that all-knowing, all-seeing energy. When you are trying to be logical about the circumstances in your life, your ego will tell you this doesn't make sense. Your ego will tell you this is not right. Your ego will tell you you have reasons to be scared, to worry, to have anxiety, to fear, to not trust, right? Especially when you've been through, let's say, similar circumstances in the past, right? And let's say it looks like history is repeating itself in this now moment. So you say to yourself, oh my God, like I know how this goes. I know how this ends. But here's the plot twist. No, you actually don't. The universe knows how this goes. The universe knows how this ends. It will only end the way you expect it to if you expect it to go that way. You don't trust the process and you don't trust the alignment of circumstances that are happening for you, because history does often repeat itself. And if it doesn't repeat, it tends to rhyme, but not always. It does that because people, human beings, are lazy. We're lazy mentally. We're lazy spiritually. We don't want to do the work. Your history does not have to come back full circle if you do the work to master your mindset. And it starts with one simple thing: trusting. Trusting the process, trusting yourself, trusting the universe, trusting that you are the universe expressed as you, trusting all those things, right? Really meditating on them and like even affirming them too sometimes, because sometimes we say it and if it's our first time, aligning with that concept, it's going to feel strange. It's going to feel foreign. It's going to feel like a little bit like unregistered in our system. Like, okay, yeah, I know I'm God having a human experience, but like, am I really? Because I've been a human my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes our egos, our psyches can kind of manipulate us in these ways where we don't want to trust what we actually are. We don't want to trust in our own divinity. We don't want to trust again in that process. But now we're going to bring it back to the strange coincidences or the strange occurrences, I'll say, that are going on in our everyday lives that are actually bringing us to where we want to be. So the moral of this episode, the moral of this story today is to look at the circumstances that are happening, look at the timeline of events that are happening in your life, whether you deem them as good or a little bit unfortunate, right? Like it reminds me of the book series I used to love as a kid called A Series of Unfortunate Events. Now in that book, it was a little bit grim. They didn't really have so much of a happy ending, but they did learn a lot throughout their journey, right? I think it was like, I read like 11 of the books. I don't remember where it stopped at, but every single book, like these kids were going through it, right? But when you kind of think of that concept, that's a lot of how we function in our lives as well, right? Like we tend to sometimes feel like we're going through it. We tend to feel like, the emotions are really doing their big ones. And sometimes it gets overwhelming. But if you look at what you deem negative and you assign a new meaning to it, because the meaning you give to your life also has so much to do with, a reflection of you trusting the process or not, a reflection of you trusting the universe or not. Everything in life, you guys, everything that happens in and of itself is neutral. It has no meaning. If I kick this table in front of me right now, that literally has no meaning. Now, if I kick the table and I hurt my big toe, the meaning I might assign to it based on the pain I'm experiencing might be negative. But in and of itself, me kicking the table and me even hurting my foot, it has no meaning. Life is what you make it. They say that for a reason. If you are having, something happen in your life right now, let's say money is tight. Let's say your relationship is going to shit. Let's say, your job situation is acting a little unstable. Let's say, your housing situation is just toxic, or it's not what you need for yourself or what you want for yourself. You can now start to look at all of these situations and say, okay, but you know what? If this wasn't necessary, I wouldn't be experiencing it. The universe already heard what I wanted, whether I vocalized it again or I just thought about it. The universe sees all, hears all, knows all. Trust that, right? So if God knows what I want, and God is all giving and all providing and so abundant, that must mean this situation that I'm in is me getting closer and closer to what it is that I see for myself. Oh, I missed the bus going to work. I'm going to be late. It's the bridge of incidences. Everything's working out for me. Oh, my car. I gave this example earlier, so let me use a different one. I left the tripods in an unidentifiable place. Oh, it's the bridge of incidences. Everything's working out for me. My candle wick has burnt down literally to the bare minimum. It doesn't even hold the flame anymore. Up is the bridge of incidences. Everything's working out for me. You guys, I'm giving like silly examples, right? But like literally, even in the most dire, chaotic situations, if you can flip the script and begin to look at it as this is the unfolding of everything I want for myself, what you speak, what you think becomes your reality. It's like a little hack, right? Like you start to look at the things like, yeah, things are getting crazy right now, but I know this is everything just working out for me. So I'll deal with the crazy because I know the benefits, that concluding space that I end up in is going to be everything I always wanted for myself. This is nothing. This is everything working out for me. This is the universe doing its big one, as it always does, as it should, right? So I want to challenge you guys to play a little game. And this game is just you in your everyday moment making little jokes like, oh, if you, let's say you want to manifest love, or you want to manifest, because I like what that guy on TikTok said, like, oh, they're just in love with me. Everybody's in love with me. Oh, they did that. They're clearly in love with me, right? If you want to manifest love, start flipping the script by assigning the meaning to every situation that person is just in love with you. People just can't help but to fall in love with you, right? Play the game. Now, if it's money and you're wanting to change your financial situation or circumstances, right? Start playing the game. Oh, that person just wants to give me. The universe just wants to spoil me. Oh, that's the universe wanting to drop some money in my pocket again. That bill came in the mail. That's a sign the universe is about to drop some money in my pocket again. Oh, that bill is overdue. That's a sign the universe has my bank account already filled up again. Like, start playing with the energies, you guys. Laughing, I know it might sound like minuscule. It might sound like it won't really do anything. But for some reason, when you smile, your brain registers certain chemicals and produces certain chemicals in the body. When your body is feeling those chemicals, it also feels more open, it feels more safe, it feels more calm. Smiling is like a little cheat code to trick your mind into tricking the body into feeling and thinking that everything's okay. So you're looking at your bank account in the red and you're like, oh, that's the universe getting ready to drop $100,000 in there. I can't wait. Thank you, universe, so much. I love that my circumstances are just bringing me so quickly, so instantly, so abundantly to everything I want for myself. Because that's what's happening, you guys. When you don't get what you want, it's because you keep assigning the meaning that you're not getting what you want. Oh, I didn't get my paycheck on time. I clearly can't pay my bills because nothing ever works out for me. Oh, that person texts me that they don't ever want to talk to me again. I'm just that person nobody loves. Nothing works out for me, right? You start assigning meanings to things, and then you get in your reality exactly what you spoke into your existence. Speak a new language. And I mean that spiritually speaking, you guys, right? Like, start to affirm these strange set of coincidences, these strange sets of circumstances that are happening in my life, whether I deem them good or bad, they just mean that I'm actually getting what I want. And then come back to this video 7 days after you tried it, right? And let me know if you got some of the things that you want. Let me know what it is that you manifested. Let me know what signs and synchronicities you saw unfolding for you, because sometimes it's not about getting to the end goal right then and there. Sometimes the universe will just start to confirm for you that you are on the right track. So, comment down below with the things that you guys want to call into your lives. Also, you guys, if you want me to start making episodes on certain topics or certain certain difficulties that you might be struggling with, definitely let me know. My email is also listed in the description. So if you guys want to reach out via email and ask questions there or give me topics and suggestions there, you can do so. But that wraps up this episode, you guys. Listen, I like this whole I can and I will theme, because you can change your circumstances, and guess what? You will change your circumstances. Stick with me, you guys. I'm gonna show you the ropes. I'm gonna show you the way. I've been experimenting with a lot of things lately, and I'm seeing massive and very, very quick results. And I want you guys to be abundant and prosperous and happy and successful and in love and feeling yourselves. I want you guys to feel yourselves. So with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next episode. Until next time, I love you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss future episodes. If you're on the Spotify, the Apple Podcast, whatever you're tuning in on, don't forget to follow and, turn on your notifications so that you don't miss the next episode when it drops. Thank you guys so much for all the love and the support. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep growing. I'm going to keep glowing. I love you guys so much. Until next time, peace out.